One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
What up? Welcome back from the weekend and welcome into the One Mic with Big Mike show, episode number 1 of the week. Heard right here on Spreaker.com. I'm also on, of course, the Spreaker app for all your mobile devices. Make sure you guys go ahead and download that so you can carry me with you everywhere you go. And while you're on Spreaker, before I get to the other outlets, make sure you guys are signing up for your free Spreaker accounts. And after you do that, search for my show, the number 1 MIC, WITHBIG MIKE, and then like it. That way, when you like me and I go live like I am right now at 7 p.m. Eastern time, you guys get an alert telling you that, it's time to rock and roll. You can also hear the show if you got the TuneIn app on your phone. I'm live on TuneIn. I'm also live on blastfi.com. And I'm also on my website, of course, the number 1 MIC, WITHBIG MIKE.com. I'm also streaming live video right now on my Facebook page. Same handle, One Mic with Big Mike on Facebook. So make sure you get on over to that if you're one of those weirdos who likes to watch. Get on over there and check that out. And you guys can like the page if you so see fit. Also, brand new, we got tabs now on the Facebook page. And I hope I'm not going to tell you guys wrong, but I think if you click the YouTube or the Instagram or the Twitter tab on this Facebook page, you guys can just like all of them from there. You can follow me on all those places. You can subscribe to my YouTube. You can like me or whatever it is. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and all those things right from my Facebook page. And my Facebook page, once again, is at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIG MIKE. The show can also be heard on demand if you don't get a chance to hear the entire show or stick around for the entire show. You can hear it on demand on all the outlets that I just mentioned, as well as on Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Now, the show is also interactive, so you guys can be a part of the show and get in on the conversation as well. A couple of different ways. Leave your comments below the streaming video on Facebook, or you can text the show at 404-902-8104. Once again, that's 404-902-8104, or the best way is probably jumping on in this live interactive chat room I got set up here on Spreaker. All you got to do, that if you're listening via Spreaker or the Spreaker app on my website, you'll see a little thought bubble there. Just click on that little thought bubble. It'll take you right to the live interactive chat room. That way you can interact with me. You can interact with the other people in the chat room. You can ask me questions. I got a guest at 7:30, as I do each and every Monday at 7:30, my big homie, Ben Troupe, the All-American SEC tight end out of Florida. He also was drafted in the second round by the Tennessee Titans back in the day. So he always comes on Monday to do this thing we do called Troupe Talk. And what we do, we just kind of break down the games from over the weekend in college and pro ball and just have a dude conversation about football. Not really an interview, but we just have a good dude conversation. The conversation may sway every now and then, but you guys understand how it works. It's just how we talk. It's how people have conversation. You don't just always what we're going to do? We're going to talk about Georgia, Ole Miss, go. And then you do that for 30 minutes. Nah, conversations have their ebbs and flows and all those kind of things. So we'll do that at 7:30. We'll also do at the top of the next hour my daily feature called On This Day, where I take a look back into the history of sports and give you guys some historical factoids on the stuff that happened on this particular day in sports history. Other than that, we got a pretty decent show. I was going to try to get up out of here early enough because around these parts it's kind of a big deal because the Saints are playing the Falcons tonight on Monday Night Football kickoff. I think it's at 8:30. I was going to try, but after looking at my notes and saying, I said, you know what, coming off the weekend is hard to do. It's hard to do like a shortened show coming off the weekend because there's so much to talk about, especially I got my man coming up at 7:30. It's a little bit difficult to get everything I want to get in roughly 90 minutes. So, stick with me. And if not, like I mentioned, everything is on demand, so you guys can catch up later if you so choose. Also, man, I want to thank you guys for doing that as well. You know, sometimes I look at the numbers after the live episode was over, and I'm like, man, wow. But then the next morning, it's like a Christmas gift. I mean, like you guys rock with me even after the fact, and I definitely appreciate that. I looked at my stats today. That sounds so stupid and weird, but Spreaker keeps like geographical stats, and people in like Pakistan and the what did it say over there in London and all those places, they're listening to this show. Like, that's so weird to me. I mean, it's like, what is somebody that's in Mawali? That's an actual place, by the way. I saw that on Mawali. What the hell are they doing listening to this show? And what are they thinking? Like, if this is like their impression of America, oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I guess it couldn't be any worse than if they were to look at this debate that's coming on tonight, which, by the way, I won't look at a minute of. This presidential debate, Hillary Clinton, because here's the thing, my whole thing with politics, and I'll tell you guys what's on the show here in just a second. The thing about me in politics, especially now, how it's totally devolved into, like, somebody running for class president in elementary school. They're probably more mature than what we're seeing now. So I'm not trying to miss watching football to watch two old white people talk crap about each other. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna bring your husband's old side chick. I'm gonna bring this dude that you got a Twitter beef with. Is anybody gonna talk about poverty and climate change and terrorism and police brutality, like real stuff? I'll watch the debate the same way I watch award shows on Twitter. You know, because you guys and girls will be watching it, and you'll be tweeting about it, and I'll just be reading, okay, that happened, okay, people are mad about this. But I'm not turning away from this Saints-Falcons game, even though, you know, the Saints are a bum-ass team, and the Falcons, you know, we'll see by the end of the night. I mean, they'll either be 2-1 or 1-2, and we'll have a better assessment of what they are as a football team. Okay, so speaking of the Falcons, of course, we'll talk about that. We're going to lead the show off with that. But other than that, of course, we got to talk about some of the other topical things to come out of week 3 in the NFL. I'll give you guys the scores and everything. If you missed anything yesterday and all day today, if you didn't get a chance to see what your favorite team did, I'll run down the scores very, very quickly. Also, in the NCAA, we're already in week 5 of college football. Feel me? Week 4 wrapped up. Oh, man. And week 4, I got some for my man Ben here, too, at the bottom of the hour. His alma mater, Florida. Yeah. If you saw it, you know why I'm reacting the way I am. We'll also talk about, of course, it's like a daily thing now, or every show thing now, where we got to give you guys the update on the Colin Kaepernick situation. The NBA is going to kick off here in about another month for real. Now they're in training camp right now, getting ready to start the preseason. So, of course, guys are answering questions. LeBron is the guy who I'm going to talk about a little bit today, and the things that he said. And I'm going to read you guys what he said, and I'm not sure. This is one of those weird times. Like, I usually have strong opinions on things, like, immediately as I hear them. But with this, I don't really know how I feel about it. You know what I mean? It's a weird feeling to have, especially when you're doing this, when you're doing an opinionated show. But I want to throw it out to you guys and see what you guys think. Speaking of throwing things out to you guys, the question of the day today is also a thing that we do. The question of the day brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. It's my homie Rob Calloway's website. Go there and check it out. You can catch some nice little articles written by some people we know, some people I don't know, but he trusts them enough to put their work up on his website. So if you guys are readers like I am, well, I'm a reader in the sports sense. I don't really sit down and read books, but you get what I'm saying. It's not about sports. Last night after the football games were over, and I realized the Cowboys had the Bears well in hand, and my fantasy week was well over. Oh my, what did I tell you guys about this bull crap that happened to me in fantasy this weekend? I'll digress. I'll get back to it. The question of the day is, I want to know, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the season finale of the show Power? You guys who are really into Power. This is one of those things where I feel a certain way about it, and I have for a while, and you guys have heard me speak on this show about that show. But it almost feels like what am I missing? Because people seem to be very, very emotionally invested in this show. And, like, Renee kept it real with me. You know what I mean? Like, Renee knows the show is, like, half a trash. But you know what Renee said to me? She said, as long as Omari Hardwick is on it, I don't give a damn. I'm going to watch. And you know what? Respect. that's straight up, that's gangster. You know, that's the good looking dude. They keep him naked all the time. He's always smashing that Puerto Rican chick. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you a chick, that's something that's going to be up your alley. And you ain't going to worry about the writing, the sequencing of the show. It ain't going to matter. And like I'm good with that. You know what I mean? Or even people who say, you know what? They watch it and they force themselves to love it because it's a black show. Or, nah. I mean, the lead characters, I should say, Tasha and Ghost, and they got the kids and 50s on it, and I don't forgot that kid's name that follows Ghost around now with the faux hawk. It's a lot of black characters in there. You know what I mean? And that's always a positive. You know what I mean? Even though it's a show about dope dealing and killing, whatever. I mean, that's the whole dudes is getting work. You know what I mean? But even people who like say, you know, that's why I support it and whatnot. But to the people who want to convince me that it's a good show, you gotta help me out. That's why I made the question of the day today. Like, you gotta give me your thoughts. And even if you don't want to just tell me about what you thought about the finale, you can tell me about season 3, because I feel like the show has just evolved over the first 3 seasons, man. It's just gotten, and you know where it started at? And me and my man, when we was doing the Sports Kings, when me and Rob Calloway were doing the Sports Kings, I had a beef about this. How the first season ended, and the next season, it picked up like that night, the same night. And it's like, come on, dude. You got kids that was like 8 last season, now they like 15. Like, the sequencing is just off. And like, when you guys watch TV enough, you know, you don't have to do that. You know, you can set up the final episode of a season to where it leads into the next season, kind of jumps forward a couple of months, and then during the next episode, you allude to the things that people think they may have missed while the show was on hiatus. Not this one. We're gonna go right into it. I heard Ryan Cameron down here in Atlanta, a local radio host here in Atlanta, talking about Empire. I've never seen an episode of Empire, but he talked about it doing the same thing, but like the dude coming back with a different haircut when the show was supposed to be picking up in the same day, and like they had a premature baby that was like 84 pounds heavy. You know what I mean? It's like, look, man, I'm all about supporting, man, but you gotta do better. Just do better. But anyway, I'll digress. We might get back into that later. I might even ask my man Ben Troupe about his thoughts on that. But that's the question of the day. I want to know what you guys think about the season finale of Power. So we'll also talk, like I mentioned, college football. Give my opinions on, you know, Les Miles getting the X after over a decade down there in Baton Rouge. The Kaepernick situation. I got some other things. A lot of people died in the last couple of weeks. Like, and not talking about like the police shootings. Like, celebrities have died, and I'm a real weird person about that. That's why I rarely mention it on my show. You know, because I'm afraid that it might come across, things I say may come across as disrespectful, and I don't ever want to do that. You know, when people die and people's loved ones die and all that kind of stuff. But there's certain things that I don't get. So maybe before the show is out, I can also pose those questions to you guys, and just know that I'm asking them earnestly, and I'm asking them for real, because I want information. I want to know the things that people are feeling, and you know, hopefully it's not just a case where I'm just dead inside and like I don't even feel what you guys feel. But you guys know that's not the truth, because you hear me when I talk about things that kind of have a linear attachment to, like when a dude gets murdered on the street by the police. Like, I have a linear attachment to it, because nothing really separates me from Philando Castile. Like, what's the difference? I drive, you know, I have my woman in the car with me. You know, it's a very linear thing. But like when some celebrity dies, like Arnold Palmer was like 90, the Dunham man, he was battling cancer, and I didn't know about. You know what I mean? So when it happened, that's the Dunham man. What is his name? Radio Raheem. I don't even remember his name. It just, I don't know. I'm a weirdo. Or no, you guys are weirdos. I'm the regular one. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So let's start with the game tonight. Let's start with the Saints and the Falcons. This rivalry, like, that's always such a weird thing to me. And by the way, you're listening to the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com. I'm also on the Spreaker app, streaming live on TuneIn, Blastspot, and my website, onemicwithbigmike.com, and also streaming live video on my Facebook page, which is OneMicWithBigMike. That is also my Twitter and my Instagram, so you guys can hit me with a follow on those joints as well. Now, this whole rivalry situation, it doesn't really make sense to me in the NFL. Maybe geographically, and then we're in the post Katrina era. 10 years now. Today marks the 10-year, not 10 years for Katrina, but 10 years since the Saints have been back in the Superdome since Hurricane Katrina, which was a real crazy. Like, I got certain memories of that time. I was in radio then, and I was doing promotions in radio then, and I remember this lady checking me, and not like rightfully so, but not even disrespectfully. We were just having a conversation. This lady and her family, her whole family. Like, her whole family, they escaped Hurricane Katrina, but just with nothing. They just came as they were. And her parents lived here. They were retired, had like a regular 3-bedroom crib or whatnot. And she was, we were at Kroger at the grocery store collecting for the Red Cross, having people like leave their change or round their bill up and all this kind of stuff, or drop money off, canned goods, whatever, for the people who were displaced from the hurricane. And this one lady came out and she was thanking us, and then we ended up just getting into a conversation, and we were just talking about everything, and she was saying how, like, man, it's just weird, like if there were she said if your house burned down, you could go to work the next day. Your job would be there, or you can go to the ATM and use your card to get cash out the bank or whatnot. She said when your whole city floods, your job is gone. The bank that has all your records and all that's gone. You know what I mean? And she was really like getting real deep and like making you think about things that, like, as just walking around every day, you don't really think about. And I said this to her. I said, man, what about those fools down there looting flat screens and trying to take flat screens through chest high water? She said, baby, if you hadn't eaten for 4 days and hadn't had no water to drink, you think you'd be thinking rationally? I was like, done. That's it. You got it. You know what I mean? And sometimes it takes people to put things in a perspective for you like that, because you end up watching on the news and seeing these images, and you're saying to yourself, man, these dudes are idiots, man. This is why last Friday when we talked about that unrest in Charlotte, this is why that one conversation put me in a situation or in a mindset where I would not do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if something's stupid, I call it stupid, definitely. But in a situation where people are helpless and people feel hopeless, ain't no judging how they gonna react or how they're reacting to it. If people don't want those, if the people who are criticizing those actions want them to change the situation, change the reasoning. Ask yourself, why are they doing this, and change that. Conversation for another part of the show. We'll get to that later, because I don't want to get off on my soapbox here. So anyway, as far as the Falcons and the Saints go tonight, last week with the Falcons, we saw the no huddle for a little bit. Now, Dan Quinn told us that, the no huddle doesn't fit what we do. Well, apparently it does. 25 plays last week. Matt Ryan was in the no huddle, and he looked damn good doing it. The story tonight is going to be the quarterbacks, Matt Ryan and Drew Brees. And for my Falcons and my Saints fans, if you're listening to the show, I got some things for you, especially if you're a Falcons fan, and if you're one of those Matt Ryan detractors or whatnot. People like to say the numbers don't lie. They do. They can be manipulated. So that's not necessarily always a factual statement. But there's certain times where you just got to give credence to the numbers. For the Falcons, let's talk about their offense. They're averaging 451 yards per game. That's second in the league. 355 of those coming off the arm of Matt Ryan in the passing game. They're scoring 29.5 points per game. You can win a lot of games scoring 30 points a game. No matter how bad your defense is, you can win some ball games. And that's tied for six in the NFL. So they're top 10 in everything, and if not at the very top offensively. Matt Ryan got 124.5 passer rating, for those of you who care about that, when his offensive line has supplied what Pro Football Focus terms as adequate protection. When he's under pressure, he only drops down a couple of points to 106.8. This is only, of course, a sample size of 2 games. But let's understand what we're seeing here. I've been very, very critical of Kyle Shanahan. But as the time between the two progresses, it seems as though things are starting to come together, especially when we saw last week the heavy use of the tight end in the passing game, as well as the running backs in the passing game. And I'll get to that here in just a second, especially for the people who love to call Matt Ryan check down Charlie. I got some numbers here that'll kind of dispel that, especially as far as the first 2 weeks of the season go. He's got a damn near perfect passer rating when you blitz him. So he's able to take advantage with Mohamed Sanu, with Julio Jones, or Quintorris as I call him, on the outside. He's able to pick apart your blitz and take advantage of those one-on-one coverages. He's 20 out of 25 for 337 yards and 3 touchdowns. You can't really get no, well, I already said it's damn near perfect. On passes thrown more than 19 yards, here's what I wanted y'all to hear. Ryan is 4 of 6 for 185 yards. He only missed 2 of them. Those are what's considered the explosive plays, the deep balls, the balls that people say, oh, he got a weak-ass arm and all that. Matt Ryan has a normal NFL arm. Like, he ain't sitting back. He ain't Joe Flacco or Brett Favre or Cam Newton. Nah. Those are special arm talents, man. Like don't too many people in the league have that Matt Stafford, I'll throw the ball to your chest arm. Most guys are Tom Brady, and most guys are, I think Aaron Rodgers has a pretty decent one, too. He got a pretty decent thing on his shoulder there, But, for the most part, man, Matt Ryan is the quintessential NFL quarterback as it pertains to arm strength. He makes all the throws. He definitely does. Moving on here, when targeting a receiver and running a slant, that's his favorite route. He scored on one to Julio last week. He's going 7 of 8, and that one incompletion was a drop. 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 151 passer rating. Like, your man is doing this thing, and it's like he's come to the understanding and the appreciation that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen with me. It's not going to be Vic Beasley. It's not going to be this young kid, Keanu Neal. It's not going to be the newly signed O'Brien Schofield. It's not going to be old-ass Dwight Freeney. It's not going to be any of those dudes over there right now. Maybe as the season progresses, you get a little bit more out of that defense. They get to gel a little bit together. The young kid starts understanding his role. By the way, he's supposed to be playing tonight. First NFL action for the kid out of Florida, Keanu Neal, the first-round pick. So we'll get to see what he's able to do against Drew Brees and that high-powered offense. I'm kind of thinking about those words based on their performance last week, but they're normally high-powered offense. They won't have the homie Willie Snead tonight. He's on my fantasy team. He won't be playing tonight. Wouldn't matter anyway. He ain't in my lineup. But he won't be playing tonight. So it's basically the matchup that you guys are going to probably be looking forward to as far as the outside guys, the specialty guys, is going to be no one on the Saints versus Julio, but Desmond Trufant versus the speedy Brandon Cooks. We saw him take one, 98 yards 2 weeks ago against that kid Smith from the Oakland Raiders. So he's coming into his own. And what is this now? Brandon Cooks is third? Is it third year or second year? I almost want to believe it's his second year. But he's still a young cat. So the matchup to watch will be with him and Desmond Trufant. And Pro Football Focus looked. They couldn't find any route going back to Matt Ryan that he isn't hitting with consistency. So the dude right now, he's off to a better start. He's taking care of the ball a little bit better. Better start than he was on last year. And hopefully that pays dividends, especially in this league where if the Falcons lose, there's a good chance they will because of all the ambiance and all the emotion that'll be surrounding this game for the Saints. There's a good chance that they lose this football game. Every damn body in the division will be 1-2. My gosh, this is a league this is a division where the team went 15-1 last year, and everybody will be 1-2. And I'm gonna talk to Ben Troupe about these 1-2 teams as well. As far as where do we kind of see them going? We saw the Panthers lost to 2 awesome defenses, that Broncos situation, and now we starting to take notice of that Viking situation, right? So I don't think they may not be as bad as maybe we think they are. Maybe it's not the old Super Bowl hangover situation, but it could in fact be they run a very, very simplistic offense. It's like run, read option, run, play fake, go deep. You know what I mean? Or hit Olsen. It's not a lot of stuff that's going to trick you. There's Renee. What up, Renee? Brandon Cooks is in his 3rd season. Sorry about that. See, I can't count. No, I went to public school here in DeKalb County, so shout out to Chapel Hill. In this game, right, in this particular rivalry or matchup, Ryan has compiled 8 career 300 plus yards games is what I'm trying to say. So if you got him, smoke him. I talked about it on Wednesday with my man from Sporting News, our fantasy expert, Matt Latofsky. It was like, if you got him, you got somebody on one of these teams, man, play him. If you got Brandon Cooks, hell, if you got Mark Ingram, run it. Of course, you got Drew Brees, you got Julio. You got that man said he's starting both Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman. So, and then watch. Like I said on Friday, it's going to end up being like a 3-0 halftime lead for somebody. Something crazy is going to go down. And then there's Drew Brees. You know, we can't really talk about the quarterback situations without talking about Drew Brees, right? He's got, so far this season, 686 yards, 5 touchdowns. He ain't threw a pick yet. That's a good thing for them because they don't need to be giving that defense any more opportunities to fail them. A week ago, he only completed 29 of 44 passes for 263 yards for whatever reason. In a game in which the two teams scored like 100 points last year, and I'm not even being like hyperbolic or facetious. They literally scored 100 points almost last year between these two teams, the Giants and the Saints. The Giants could only muster against this bad defense like 1 touchdown on a blocked field goal, and they won the game. So that's why, like, you dudes are such savages too. Like, these are the 4 Owens. I saw this meme. These are the 4 Owens. Owen Daniels, Owen Hart. What's the actor name? Somebody Owen, and the Saints 0-2. Savage MFers, man. I don't really have a dog in this particular fight. I'm glad. I don't even understand how this necessarily works, and I don't know if it raised to another pitch. And see, this is what's gonna happen today. This is what's gonna happen today. They're gonna be playing all that old footage of, you know, the Superdome with those people in there sleeping in there for Hurricane Katrina. Then they're gonna be doing like the Steve Gleason things. Like I don't know about that, man. Like when them dudes have like ALS and all that, and they want to keep like trotting them out in front of TVs. It's like I felt that way about Muhammad Ali, man. It's like, what do you think people are getting from that? And maybe some of you are. Hey, maybe some of you do get something from that. I don't know. It just feels real intrusive, and it feels real weird to me. You know, that these people are going through these horribly debilitating things, and the first thing somebody can think to do is like, you know what we gotta do? Put them on TV, exploit them for everybody. And I mean, of course, I guess their families have to be complicit in it and all those things, but I don't know, man. It doesn't really pass the smell test with me. Like, you could tell me about Steve Gleason, and you could show me all his highlights and the block punt and all that stuff, and tell me what he's going through. You can, you know, even if you show stills of the guy. But, you know, they got this dude who's supposed to be tonight. He's supposed to be going over and looking at the block punt 10 years ago. I remember exactly where we were when we saw that too. Me and this dude, and I don't hang out with no more. We went down to Dave and Buster's to watch the Falcons game with the 2 Live Stews, former sports talk show duo here in the city of Atlanta. No, they were national too. They were syndicated. So some of you may know who they are, remember them. They're one of them still does a show right here on Spreaker, as a matter of fact, the Doug Stewart Show. So we went down there to kick it with them and watch the game, and it was crunk, man, and people was losing their damn mind, man. And I remember just thinking about, I wonder if the energy's like that in this room that we're in, like, what the hell is it like in New Orleans? Like, those people and the way they party. And, you know, as you can see now, man, they're still reliving it, and they're talking about it. And a lot of people you hear talk about that were there say they've never heard anything that loud or felt any energy that poignant. Poignant? Is that the word I'm looking for? And anyway, and also, Renee reminded me earlier before I go to break here that Bill Nunn is Radio Raheem, the Dunham Man. That's his real name. So I'm terrible with names anyway. So anyway, I'm going to take a quick break here, about 2 minutes, and we're going to come back. We're going to do Troupe Talk and talk to my homeboy, Ben Troupe, the former SEC All-American. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, the Georgia-Florida Game Hall of Fame here pretty soon. He was also drafted in the second round by the Tennessee Titans in, 2000? 04, I think, 04. So he comes on every Monday to do this thing we do called Troupe Talk, where we kind of break down the games from last week and we have a little fun and BS a little bit about what happened in the football games, pro and college, over last week. I might even ask that dude if he watches Power and see. I need to know if I'm the crazy one when it comes to that show. And I watch a lot of TV, man, because I'm old. I'm an older cat. I don't go out no more. And I watch a lot of TV, man. So I can recognize good TV when I see it, which means I can also recognize bad TV programming when I see it as well. So that's coming up after the break. My man Ben Troupe Talk, right here on One Mic with Big Mike.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So of course we all know there's lots of talent in America. But unfortunately, there's something else we've got way too much of. Childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. But here's the thing. This problem is entirely solvable. Seriously, we already produce more than enough healthy, nutritious food in this country to feed every single last one of those hungry kids. We just need a way to get it to them. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is out there every day gathering surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families all across the country. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Well, I have one question for you. Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
In the U.S., about 90 people die in motor vehicle crashes each day, and thousands more are injured, resulting in hundreds of millions of dollars in direct medical costs each year. 1 in 3 crash deaths involves drunk driving, almost 1 in 3 involves speeding, and half of those who died were not buckled up. Even though we've made progress in the U.S., other high-income countries have lower motor vehicle crash death rates. We can and must do better. Here's what you can do. Use a seatbelt in every seat on every trip, no matter how short. Make sure children are always properly buckled in the back seat, in a car seat, booster seat, or seatbelt, whichever is appropriate for their age, height, and weight. Never drive while impaired by alcohol or drugs, and help others do the same. Obey speed limits, and drive without distractions. To learn more, visit cdc.gov/vital signs.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Welcome back to the One Mic with Big Mike show here on a Monday. Coming off the weekend. Some good football this weekend, by the way, too, man. I'm right here on Spreaker.com. I'm on Spreaker, the app. So you want to go ahead and download that for all your mobile devices. I'm also here live on TuneIn, Blastfy, and my website. Of course, it is One Mic with BigMike.com. I'm streaming my live video on Facebook. My Facebook page is at the number 1 MIC, WITH, BIGMIKE. And as I do every Monday, it's that time of the week. Probably it's turning out to be one of my favorite segments that I've done since I started the show. I get to hang out and talk crap about football with one of the best to ever do it at the college level. His name is Ben Troupe, and I call this segment Troupe Talk.
It's time for Troupe Talk.
What you talking about?
We're talking NFL and college football with former NFL and SEC tight end Ben Troupe.
Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles the man, spins to the 5. Oh my! Still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's gonna score! He's gonna score!
Troupe Talk. Troupe Talk.
We heading to the top. If you come on.
On One Mic with Big Mike.
Yep, there it is, Ben. What the deal, man?
Man, I'm cooling as always, man. Looking forward to this unique opportunity, man. Giving a brother like myself a chance to vent, man. This is like a Monday night quarterback. So
No doubt. Let's see, college football. That's where we usually start. By the way, make sure you guys are following Ben on Twitter and Instagram. He's at BENTROUPE84. Let's see where should we start with Duke? No, we're not gonna do that. How about UGA? No. Look at that. How about we go to Knoxville? What happened to the Gators, B? Look, I'm in here looking at the game, and I told people on Friday, like, I want to see this game because I've heard all about this UF defense. You know, they bring defense every year, but I hadn't seen them this year. So I was like, okay, this is a perfect test. One of what's supposed to be the best teams in the SEC East against the best defense in the country. Let me check this out. So last week, the wifey got sick, so I got to do like double duty on some things. I had to do the grocery shopping. So I saw the first half. I'm looking at 21-3. These kids are flying around on defense. I'm like, all right, I've seen enough. Let me step out of here and go to the store real quick. Ben, I come back, and you know what I saw when I came back. Now tell me what happened.
You know, I call it the tale of two halves. I really do. Like you were saying, I mean, first half, everything's clicking for us on offense and defense. I think we playing within the confines of the game. I think we flying around on both sides of the ball. Appleby is delivering the ball. But the second half, man, I got to say this, Joshua Dobbs, and this is the reason why people are so excited in Ball Nation about Joshua Dobbs. Listen, man, he came out and he was dropping dimes, throwing bombs. Guys just getting open, everything that could go right for us in the first half went right for us, and everything that could go wrong for us went wrong in the second half. But I do think, and I ain't taking nothing away from Tennessee, they did their thing, especially in the second half. I'm happy that this kind of situation happened to us early, third game of the year, because we still got a lot to play for, and I think it's going to serve us well moving forward. But listen, Joshua Dobbs, this young man came out, and he did what he had to do. And I think the second half, Tennessee played like a team that wanted to end the streak. And I think we got real relaxed in the second half. Yeah. And you see what happens at the end of the
big-time mistakes. And then, I'm thinking to myself, the way this defense is playing in the first half, there's no way that one dude beats them, because the whole game, you know what's going to happen. There's one dude that's going to beat you. It's the dude wearing number 11. Maybe the other kid, Jalen Hurd at running back, who made some plays in that second half as well. But like I say, I left the house, and I'm like, oh, all right, this is cool. I'll be back in time to see the fourth quarter, some of the fourth quarter. Yeah, didn't even need it. Moving on. We got some other stuff to talk about. That LSU-Auburn game. That was I'm not even a fan of any of these teams. I just watched the game because I love to watch football. So when LSU scored that final touchdown, I tweeted WTF, exclamation point. And I tweeted for LSU, but it kind of just, it kind of fit both situations, because eventually, of course, they didn't have enough time. They went back. I didn't even know they could review having enough time, but of course they didn't have enough time. And the fallout from that, Les Miles no longer has a job after over a decade down there in Baton Rouge. He no longer, Cameron's out the door. What happens if that touchdown stands, man? Today, what are we talking about today?
If that touchdown stands, Cameron still has a job. He ain't putting his house up for sale. Man. Les Miles still have a job. He ain't putting his house up for sale. But you know what? It just speaks volumes from the simple fact that this is a what have you done for me lately business.
Absolutely.
And when you look at LSU, the last 3 years, you got arguably the best running back in the country. Take another away from Derrick Henry, take another away from McCaffrey, take another away from the young man down there in Florida State. Take another away from the guys. Dalvin Cook. But the thing is this, that's all you got. It looks like Adrian Peterson back there wearing number 7 because your quarterback hasn't developed. Your receivers definitely haven't developed. Your defense has played well, but let's face it, LSU, that's prestige. These guys are looking to be in the hunt, not just for the SEC title, but the national title, and they've gotten very, very middle-of-the-road mediocre. And, last year Les Miles was talking about being, fired. Obviously the fans and the alumni, people came together, and the AD going to come out and say he's not going to be fired.
Right.
But you was picked to be one of the top 4 teams in the college football playoff. Lo and behold, Wisconsin, they shut that down first game of the year.
Let me ask you about
a win the second week.
Let me ask you about this concept real quick. And I thought about this. In college football, there seems to be 3 different kinds of coaches. And maybe a coach may have a combination of 2, or then you may have a Nick Saban that has all 3. And these categories are this. You have the motivators. That's what I consider Les Miles to be, a guy who will motivate his team to potentially run through a wall for him. Then you got the X's and O's guys, like the Gus Malzahns. And then you got the recruiters, like Gene Chizik. I believe that Gene Chizik and Gus Malzahn thing, it had to work together, because you saw when one left, Nothing happened. But then Gus Malzahn comes back. They go to the national championship, but then all Gene Chiswick's players leave, and now they suck again. It seems like they were supposed to have that marriage, but then you have Nick Saban, who seems to be all three. He's the motivator, he's the X's and O's guys, and the recruiters. First of all, I want to get your take on that concept, and then ask you, what the hell do the people, or what the hell is anybody in the SEC trying to do? Because it seems like right now, all you're really doing is waiting for Nick Saban to die. That's it. There's nothing else gonna happen. Like, who you gonna hire to take the throne from that dude? If you're LSU, if you're Georgia, you think Kirby Smart gonna do it? If you're anybody else, who you gonna hire to take the throne from that dude?
You know what, and I do agree with you when you say about that. You got the recruiters, you got the motivators, you got the X and O's guys, and I think a guy like Nick Saban, I think bigger than that, Nick Saban believes in a system. You look at Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick said, it doesn't matter who I have, it's the Patriot way. When you look at Alabama, it doesn't matter who he has. You got a veteran quarterback, you got a true freshman. You got a veteran running back, you got a true freshman. You got the defense, and the thing about Alabama that I can appreciate, they hold up a standard in college football. You expect them to do well. You expect Ole Miss, to have to score that many points, even though they still lost the game. So the thing about Nick Saban is, Nick Saban builds his team around a standard. Like, this is the type of player I'm looking for at Alabama. And if you're not the type of player, you won't play here. And when you think about guys like Gus Malzahn made it to the national championship. A lot of things had to go his way. Gene Chiswick, he just happened to have the best player in college football. Because look at Jimbo Fisher at Florida State. It's one of those things to where I always say, a lot of these coaches aren't great coaches. You just happen to recruit a once-in-a-lifetime player, Jameis Winston, Cam Newton. Because when you look at it, when it comes to college football, this is the one thing about college football that people don't get. College football is the only place to where players are really being coached. Like, you're really trying to coach these guys, but the head coach controls everything. Because while I respect Nick Saban, it's a part of me with Nick Saban that I don't like. I don't like the fact that he is as prestigious as he is. Yet, he blocking that young man from going to another school. Right. As well as Kirby Smart blocking kids from going to Miami. So the thing about college football coaches is they're the end-all, be-all. They're the GM. They're the president. They're the player personnel guy. Because everything, now the AD hires them, but after that, it's almost like the AD goes, all right, do your thing, man. I'll let you know. It's like the AD got to ask, can I come in the building? So I think college football is in a great place, but I also think that as long as these college coaches don't have consequences as far as like what they do and how they do, because Les Miles, he just got fired today or yesterday. Guess what? He still get the rest of his contract.
$12 million.
They got to pay him to leave.
Right.
think about this, Mike. You had think about this, Mike. You had a job, and they fired you, but they got to pay you to leave. That's like, is that a bad thing?
No.
Hey man,
you can't cry for that, dude.
We're gonna send you a check. We're gonna send you $1 million for the next 12 years. All right, just make sure you spell my name right.
Yeah.
So it ain't like these coaches got it made in college football. You look at a guy like Gene Chiswick. 2 years after winning that championship, he's gone. Guess what? He's not only got to get the remainder of his contract from Auburn, the college that he went to, they got to pay him. So he got 2 contracts at one time. So college football is one of those things where I will never bite the hand that fed me. The NCAA did volumes for my life, but at the same time, it's one of those things where when people say people need to shut up and play because they're giving you scholarships. Well, in the words of Nas off the movie Bellin, when he told DMX, when he said, "Man, I'm trying to have my baby go to Africa. I'm trying to get her." He said, "Your baby can't eat no books, and you can't. I can't eat no books."
Oh, my man.
So it's one of those things to where, you know how it is, Mike. I have an opinion, and just because I have an opinion and a perspective doesn't mean I'm being disrespectful. It's just the fact that I have intellect on top of athleticism.
Yeah.
And because the days of the dumb jock are over, basically what I'm saying. It's like these people got voices, so I respect what these college coaches do. And Nick Saban he is the gold standard of college football coaches. But the thing of the matter is this. These dudes get away with so much stuff to the point where they come down on the players, but you blocking a young man who's giving you all he had to go to another school because you don't feel as though he should be able to go within the conference. I think that, or I have to give you a list of the schools I want to transfer to. You Nick Saban, you ain't my daddy, you my coach.
Yeah, but
I just think it's crazy.
They make them think it is. I'm talking right now on Troupe Talk with Ben Troupe. He's a former All-American down there at Florida from 2000 to 03. He's also drafted in the second round in 04 by the Tennessee Titans. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at BENTROUPE84. Last thing I got for you in a college game. of course, we got to talk UGA because you talked about it last week. You talked about it, the extreme ups and then the extreme lows, and we got to see it in two back-to-back weekends. We saw the extreme ups of that comeback victory in Mizzou, and then we saw them get their face smashed in by Ole Miss. Nick Chubb's injured now again with the ankle, and the freshman quarterback looked like a freshman, and it's exactly what you said last week, man. They don't have the dynamics on the outside, those dynamic receivers on the outside to necessarily compete right now in the SEC. So going forward, like what does the rest of the season look like for a team like Georgia, who Kirby Smart, their head coach, said we don't even have an offensive identity?
Like you said, you're gonna have to develop yourself as you go. The thing about Easton that I think they messed them up with, you don't dun a player just because you came back against Mizzou. Take nothing away from Mizzou. Mm-hmm. But if you don't get a strip at the end of the game, they go down and probably kick the field goal to win. And I think what happens is it's unrealistic expectations. But going into that game, you couldn't find a receiver to get open. And because all of a sudden guys catching passes, well, forget about what I said last week. No, the problem is you got to be, when it comes to Kirby Smart, he's a first-year head coach. Yes, he was a great, and this is the thing too, and I don't know how it's going to pan out. People need to stop thinking that just because I've had great success as a coordinator, that translated to a head coach. It's not the same thing.
Absolutely right.
Because as a coordinator, I got one side of the ball. I don't even have to look at the offense. And the thing is, it makes you think that I can run a team. And what happens in a situation like that, it's like Eason, I think he definitely has to go through the bumps and bruises. I do think he's the guy of the future for Georgia. But let's be realistic. You was able to come back against Mizzou. Ole Miss just exposed every flaw you had, from the quarterback position to the running back position. Chubbs got hurt because you're trying to say you can't give a guy that many carries coming off that type of injury. Yeah. You got to give the backup some carries. So I think that Georgia still got a chance to be a good team. I think they still got some big games coming up. A big game this weekend against Tennessee. But you're gonna have to. The thing about Chubbs going down is gonna hurt Easton. You need two things when you got a young quarterback. You need a good running game and a good defense. And at this point, Georgia has neither. Absolutely. So it might be rough.
All right, now let's go to pro football. And we gotta go all the way back, man. We gotta start with Thursday. That situation that happened in Foxborough. Like, I know throughout the days after that, Bill Belichick, the great Bill Belichick, goes in there with his third-string quarterback and pulls one out. But this is an angle I want to talk to you about. Dude, how hard, don't you almost have to try to get shut out in an NFL game? I mean, kickers are kicking the ball from like half the field away. You got to pretty much try to get shut out. These dudes got beat. What was a 2-0 team got beat 27-0 by a third-string quarterback.
You know what? I think that the only thing that got exposed in that game is the greatness of Bill Belichick and how far Bill O'Brien has to go. Because, see, when you look at it as Bill O'Brien, he goes on and get Brock Osweiler, Mr. 7 games. I played 7 games in 4 years, and I get $72 million. Now, my thing is this. Osweiler was a guy, okay, we feel as though that, he was suitable enough to be our guy. The first 2 games, that's an anomaly. Because people going to judge you based off of real competition. Take nothing away from those 2 wins. But you didn't score a point. Because one thing that Bill Belichick does whenever he got to play backup, he's going to have his defense ready. Mm-hmm. He's going to put pressure on that offense. And it's not that they got beat. They got dominated.
Yeah, they did.
I'm like, what's wrong with
From whistle to whistle.
I mean, and listen, and think about this. Now, Mike, you go into the game, what they won't do. I mean, Brissett threw for barely over 100 yards. This is the first time that Rob Gronkowski has ever really been a decoy. He's just in there.
They got one target. Yeah, one target.
Listen, and you already knew it's going to be a heavy dose of LeGarrette Blount. And you know what's coming, but you can't stop it. Not only is LeGarrette Blount running that thing, he's running it down your throat. I mean, it's just bad. And we talking about J.J. Watt. We talking about Jadeveon Clowney. We talking about Joseph and those guys.
Neutralized.
Yes, Cushion is out, but it's like y'all going up against perennial Pro Bowlers. You're going up against the defensive MVP the last 3 years in a row, and y'all are looking beyond average. So I just think it exposed a flaw, not just for the Houston, but that whole AFC South. That whole division is kind of flawed right now. Yeah. But it's just one of those things where Bill Belichick, in the words of oh man, I can't even think of his name right now. The guy that do the rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. I can't
Chris
think of his name
Berman.
right now.
Chris Berman.
When Chris Berman goes, nobody circles the wagons like the Chicago. No, nobody circles the wagons like the New England Patriots.
Right.
They're the best team. They are the only team, in my opinion, that is built for consequences. They love it. They say, listen, do whatever you got to do, and we still gonna win. So I just think I'm happy for Brissett. He's a former Florida Gator, even though he transferred to North Carolina. Said I was happy that the young man scored the first touchdown and gave it to Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, what am I gonna do with this?
Yeah, he ain't with all that mushy junk, all that emotional
stuff.
You know
what, man? I just think that what Bill Belichick does better than any coach ever to coach, he coaches his football players. He coaches scenarios. He coaches situations. He don't coach his X's and O's. He said, listen, okay, so what happens if Tom goes out, if Jimmy goes out, if Brissett goes out? Okay, now Edelman got to come in. It don't matter what, they don't miss a beat, man. So I just think it just shows that why Bill Belichick is who he is, and why Bill O'Brien went in hoping to win. And Bill Belichick looked at Bill O'Brien and said, I'm going to make you have to beat me. I'm going to make you have to come with your best.
Look, I said at this point, if they don't have no quarterback going in next week, just forfeit. I mean, you thought you was going to be 2-2 anyway. Just go ahead and take the 3-1 and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Just keep it moving for Tom to come back.
Bill Belichick might just lose this week just to keep it safe.
Yeah, just to take an extra off week, cuz.
Listen, let's just take an L just so, just so it'll look like we ain't as good as we are. And this is the thing. It ain't that the Patriots are just miles and miles ahead of everybody else. They just don't beat themselves.
Yeah, they're just more prepared.
They play solid. They don't have nobody. Listen, they got a couple of guys on their defense that might scare you a little bit, but they just play team football. And LeGarrette Blount, this boy just, I don't know what it is about them games that he got to carry that rock. He's going to do something to you. This boy hurdling people. I just think it's just a great job by Bill Belichick letting people know Tom Brady is the best player ever come through a Patriot uniform, but I've never built my team around just him. I have to show y'all that.
Before we get up out of here, because we run out of time, let me ask you about a couple things that happened over the weekend. And he has been Troupe right here on Troupe Talk on the One Mike with Big Mike show. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Ben, TROUPE 84. First, you talked about the quarterbacks and and these anomalies when it comes to Brock Osweiler. But at this point, can we pretty much say that Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott, these guys are NFL quarterbacks. These guys understand what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're
the real deal.
And the sky is the limit for these dudes.
I'm going to say this. I think Dak Prescott is actually playing better than Carson Wentz when given the circumstance. Because you got to think, Carson Wentz got a defense. You see if you listen, and people ain't saying enough about Malcolm Jenkins is a beast.
Yeah.
Malcolm Jenkins is coming from the safety position, stopping a freaking shallow route, a shallow cross with Antonio Brown. You know how hard that is to do? I just think too, what I like the most about Carson Wentz is when you look at him, Carson Wentz looks like he looked like an IT tech from freaking Best Buy. But the boy is a starting quarterback. And he looks the part. And what I like about Dak Prescott, for some reason, man, he's just controlling the whole thing. The boy making checks. And one thing he has is very, very hard to do. He has the respect of those veterans. He has the respect of his teammates. And the thing I like about both of those young men, they got poise, man.
Does Romo get the job back? When Romo's healthy, does he get the job back?
No. Listen. I'm gonna say this. The only reason why Tony Romo gets the job back because Jerry Jones got this bromance going along with Tony Romo. I want that type of loyalty. When people say, "What type of loyalty you want?" I want the Jerry Jones
loyalty
to Tony Romo loyalty because I'm just not getting it. Listen. I want the Jerry Jones to Tony Romo loyalty. I want the Mr. Brown ownership and Coach Lewis down there in Cincinnati loyalty because we talking about people that ain't done nothing in a long time and they've kept their job.
Well,
people get fired for less.
When Tony Romo's healthy, he's a real deal quarterback. It's just now his body's breaking down. And then here's the other thing that I want to mention about the Cowboys before we move on. It's like what we're seeing out of Dak Prescott. There's a lot of effort that has to go into getting Dez Bryant the football when it seems to be a lot easier when Tony Romo's the quarterback. Cole Beasley's the man, cuz Cole Beasley catches like a million balls every game because he's open and he presents a mismatch in the middle.
What's the other receiver name? Well, hold on. What's the other receiver name? Number 83. What's his name?
Terrence Williams.
Because he's bothering me.
Williams.
And Terrence Williams have another incident. This boy personal around the bounds. Now he get a 50-yarder and he get a. But that's when you know things are going well. The boy got a fumble and people high five. You good?
Right.
We got that. So it's all good.
Odell Beckham. If Odell Beckham's your teammate and you see this is going on the sideline, we understand that football. To play it effectively, sometimes you got to put yourself in an unnatural state mentally. But it seems like my man is kind of like a ticking time bomb, and that can't be good for the team itself. You know, it's good for him that he's got a quarterback like Eli Manning, who blood pressure never goes up. He's like, all right, man, it's gonna be all right. We gonna make it happen, and if we don't, there's always next week. But as a teammate, when you see that happening, or you see something like that happening, how does it affect you as a teammate of Odell Beckham Jr.?
It doesn't affect me. I just think he's playing for the cameras. I really do. I mean, you got to think he's in the biggest media market in the world.
Okay.
He knows he's one of the biggest names in the world. And think about it, he knows everything he does, especially when he plays Washington and Josh Norman, is going to be magnified. And this is the only thing about what he does that is alarming. When Eli Manning has to come out and carry because Eli doesn't do that. Eli doesn't go up to teammates and pull them to the side.
Why is he crying? Why is my man crying?
And you know, listen, the best thing happened in that game was him hitting the things, hitting the net, and the net hit him in the face. That's like the net saying, "Stop acting crazy," because you got the thing, man. Look, football is not golf. It ain't tennis. It's 10 other guys that's helping you do what you do every single play.
Right.
Now, can Josh Norman cover Odell Beckham Jr.? Not in his sleep, not in his dreams. He just can't. He cannot cover him. But what I like the most about Josh Norman is this. Josh Norman said, "Listen, I got the W." See, he can do all he want to do, but he didn't get in the zone.
Right.
Because Odell Beckham won't get his catches regardless. And he didn't get in the zone, and we won the game.
That's three
and
games,
that's the thing
too.
about moving forward with the Giants that bothers me. Eli Manning is a turnover machine. He just wins so much that people let it go. Eli had a couple of drop interceptions yesterday, and if Eli getting all loose with the ball like that, it's going to be rough, because even though they could have went 3-0, but they was 2-1, they're the most unimpressive 2-1 team I've seen, because that defense, up until this point, it ain't living up to that $300 million they gave out. It's just not.
Let's move on to the night. And by the way, he has been Troupe. Got a couple more minutes here with him. Let's move on to the night's game. This is like the game that people here in Atlanta and the people in New Orleans seem to wait for every year. The New Orleans squad is trash. We'll find out more about the Falcons. Yeah, they're trash. You know what I mean? We'll find out more about the Falcons today. After tonight's game, they'll either be 1-2 like everyone else in the damn division, or they'll be 2-1 sitting at the top of the division. But the one guy I want to ask you about is Vic Beasley. Vic Beasley's had a tough road of it since coming out of Clemson. And the question I want to ask you is, when do you, as a fellow player that's on the team with him, and when do you expect the organization to say, well, man, we might have made a mistake on this one? Because he's not even close. He's not even a dude that's bending the corner. He's getting stuck on blocks. He's trying to work some sort of abstract pass rush move that I've never seen before, and just people are dominating this kid. Like each and every down, they're dominating him. When, as a teammate, do you say, all right, man, these dudes need to make a decision here and figure what's going to go on with this dude out?
Big Beasley, in my opinion, should never got drafted. Not where he got drafted, but to who he got drafted to. When the last time, outside of John Abraham, that a defensive lineman is dominated for the Atlanta Falcons? You can't remember too many guys that's dominated. I mean, think about it. And this is the thing about it. You remember defensive players for the Atlanta Falcons just like you remember offensive players. Who their best offensive players? They had Michael Vick, they had T.J. Becker, they had Warwick Dunn. Who they had on defense? They had John Abraham, they had Keith Brookin. I can't remember too many other than that. Now, Keith Brookin played that for years and years and years. So what happens to a guy like Vic Beasley, it's not his fault. I'm going to tell you why. He's undersized at defensive end.
Yeah, it's like 240, 245, yeah.
Von Miller is the reason. See, Von Miller got people thinking unrealistically. Von Miller is a talent that he's gifted. That boy got gifts. And
he plays for Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips has this canny thing to take care of his outside linebackers. I can go from Sean Merriman. I can go to DeMarcus Ware in Dallas. Von Miller now. He knows how to get pressure with those outside linebackers. Go ahead, brother.
But at the same time, man, Vic Beasley, in my opinion, is in the wrong system on the wrong team at the wrong time.
Wow.
Because the thing about it, Atlanta has been trying to find a defense since the Dirty Birds. They have been trying to, since Eugene Robinson, he go out the night before the Super Bowl and he can't even play. Listen, and that's how I grew up an Atlanta Falcons fan.
Yeah, don't do that to Eugene.
And it's just one of those things, Mike, to where one guy can't do it for you anyway. See, listen, in my opinion, Vic Beasley's in the same boat as Jadeveon Clowney. See, we waiting on Jadeveon.
But at least this year he's healthy and he's making plays sporadically.
Sporadic. And you know what? When you look at Von Miller, it's like they can look at Von Miller and say, Von, take over the game. If Clay Matthews never ever would have went to the middle linebacker position because he's freaky enough to do it, these guys, outside linebackers, take games over. Elvis Dumervil.
Right.
You know, Terrell Suggs.
Yeah.
And the problem with Vic Beasley is he looks the part, but he plays for the Falcons.
That's what
and
it
the thing
is.
about it, I really cause think about this. Think about this. You went from Roddy White to Julio.
Right.
You went from Algie Crumpler to Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah.
You went from Jamal Lewis to TJ to Ward to Devonta, and it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
At linebacker, at defensive end, you went from John Abraham to
crickets.
Well, that's it.
Right. Just straight crickets.
Because Corey Bierman he's not an athlete, he's an effort guy.
Yeah.
You know, and then you bring ICM a year. ICM a year. How did that work out? I don't know what that was about. I mean, he must have knew somebody that knew somebody. Then you go from ICM a year to Dwight Freeney. Stop getting these dinosaurs as far as like pass rushers.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. So unless Vic Beasley is going to just strictly move to the outside, strictly move to the linebacker division, what's the defensive end they got the first round out of Arkansas? He never panned out either.
Oh, Jamal Anderson. Yes, the other Jamal Anderson.
And to me, that it's like the same thing. It ain't the fact that you can't play. It ain't the fact that you ain't got the gift. If they don't surround you with talent around you, Keanu Neal, I think he's gonna be a nice safety. But the problem is, you got to depend on them other DBs too. So tonight gonna be bombs over Baghdad. If you are a fantasy football owner tonight, you finna get some points tonight.
That's what I told
that defense ain't gonna stop nobody on either side.
That's
so
what I told
I don't think there's nothing wrong with Big Beasley. It's just the fact that Mike, it's just one of those things to where if you're a defensive player, you know, outside of the nightlife, that's all Atlanta can really provide you. Because you ain't finna win no games. You are not going to win no games because there's too much pressure on one guy. Vic Beasley was an okay player at Clemson. He wasn't great. He ain't Shaq Lawson.
Yeah, he's an
but, you know,
athlete.
things happen.
Yeah. Ben, we're going to do it again next week, brother. I got to run.
Appreciate it.
My man. That's Ben Troupe, former SEC All-American. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at BNTROUPE84. That dude is crazy as hell, man. He said it's just because he played for the Falcons. That's why. Jesus Christ. Oh, anyway, man, we're going to come back. I got to do On This Day. We're going to jump into some of this college stuff. We're going to get to some of the things that we didn't get to with Ben Troupe as I watched him, Steve Gleason on my television, watching. Oh, man, that's tough. That's tough, ladies and gentlemen. Golly, that's tough. Anyway, make sure you guys sign up for your free Spreaker accounts on Spreaker or the Spreaker app. And this is the One Mike with Big Mike show, and I'll be right back.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try. He's just a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I have one question for you. Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mike with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mike with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemikewithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
One Mike.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mike with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mike with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Banged Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Right here on Spreaker.com. The Spreaker app as well for all your mobile devices, so make sure you go ahead and download that situation. I'm also live on TuneIn if you already got that on your phone, on Blastify.com, and of course, my website, my awesome website, as my homie told me the other day, the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE.com. And if you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire episode, don't worry. All shows are on demand following the episode. All shows going back to November. So if you ever want to go back and hear how horrible it sounded at the beginning, I don't know if it sounded horrible, but how average it was and how average it continues to be to this day, you can go to any of those 4 outlets I just mentioned. You can also go to Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and you can catch the live video on demand, or the video on demand, at my YouTube page. You guys go there, One Mic with Big Mike, and subscribe to my YouTube page if you would. You can catch the live video right now, though, on my Facebook page, which is at the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE on Facebook. So make sure you go and like the page as well. Let's see. Make sure that's all I got to tell you guys before I go to On This Day. Get in contact with me. Join the conversation. If you want to comment on anything that fool Ben Troupe was talking about, go to 404 or text me at 404-902-8104. You can also drop your comments right below the live video on my Facebook page, and you can also jump inside my live interactive chat room. You do so by clicking on that little thought bubble you see. That little thought bubble you see on Spreaker or the app or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. I'll answer your question as soon as I do On This Day. Renee, she wants to know why I keep watching shows that I clearly don't like. Yeah, there's a reason. There's a real sadistic reason why that keeps happening to me, and why I'm so happy. She's talking about Power and why I'm so happy that it's over, that the season is over with, because anyway, I'll talk about it after I do this.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
All right. Right here. Oh, sorry. What the hell is happening right now? Oh, on this day in 1961, the New York Yankees' Roger Maris, you guys know Roger Maris, he hits home run number 60 off Jack Fisher. See, that's the part. That's the part of the trivia question. If they ever ask you who Roger Maris hit his 60th home run off of, it's Jack Fisher. That was the tying home run to Babe Ruth's record. In 1962, Maury Will is the first person to steal 100 bases in a season. He ended up going for 104. In 1973, Wilt Chamberlain signs with the ABA San Diego Conquistadors. On this day in 1981, the great Nolan Ryan sets a Major League Baseball record by throwing his 5th no-hitter against the LA Dodgers. They won the game 5-0. On this day in 1988, a day that go down in infamy as far as the track world is concerned, Canada's Ben Johnson was stripped of his Olympic 100 medal gold for failing a drug test. If you guys haven't seen that 30 for 30 on this stuff on Ben Johnson, and like how they kind of tell you that everybody was on dope, but Carl Lewis couldn't stand to lose to this Canadian dude, so he kind of ratted him out and got him caught. Yeah, snitch. Like all these grown men with braces on their teeth, because that's like, and all this acne and all this kind of stuff. On this day in 1994, the double murder trial for Orenthal J. Simpson. Is it Jerome or James? I'll say Jerome Simpson. Began with the jury selection in Los Angeles. Those ridiculous jurors. I mean, I just knew ain't no way. That's what she get for sticking around. Remember that lady said that on that OJ documentary on 30 for 30? That's what she get. Wait, what? That's what she get. Then on the same day, the next year in 1995, the prosecution began its closing argument in the OJ murder trial. They lost, by the way. Spoiler alert. On this day in 2012, finally, the National Football League and the NFL Referees Association reached an agreement to end an ongoing referee lockout. On June 4, 2012, the NFL had announced it would be hiring replacement officials after a failed attempt to resolve the labor dispute. And we all know how that sure bit ended up. Yo, you turds was out there applauding the referees when they came to work. And then, now you see no one knows what the damn catch is. And Look at me. I got it right. Orenthal James. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your Monday edition of On This Day. I'll be back on Wednesday to do another one. The game's about to kick off here in about 20 minutes. The Atlanta Falcons and the Saints down there in New Orleans about to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Saints returning to the Superdome after Hurricane Katrina. Here's like a funny factoid. After next year, the Falcons and the Saints will be playing in the same building, essentially. They will both be playing in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. How weird is that? Yeah, probably not at all. But anyway, I wanted to get into some of this college football stuff. Some of the stuff that I left on the table after talking with, well, you know what, first, let's hit the NFL stuff first. And then I'll clean up this college football stuff and give you guys the new rankings and all that kind of stuff. So first, I'm gonna give you guys the score. We already talked about the Patriots and the Texans, the damn Patriots blowing them out 27-0 on Thursday night. The Cardinals got it pushed in by the Bills, by Tyrod and the boys. They got it pushed way in, 33-18. And apparently, there's some concern out there in the desert with one Carson Palmer. The Bruce Arians downfield striking attack. People are kind of just sitting back on those deep routes and saying, beat us another way. Run the ball with that kid of, golly, what is his name? His name escapes me. The running back that a lot of you guys picked in the first round of your fantasy draft. The Raiders, some kind of damn way, are 2-1. They pulled out another one. The Titans had a late penalty. Two of their offensive linemen wanted to play tough guy. Taylor Lewan, who is your resident tough guy, jumped over a pile and start cleaning dudes out of a pile when the ball was down close to the goal line, like around the 5-yard line. Andre Johnson catches an offensive pass interference, and thus his life. The Browns lost late. Field goals being missed around to the Dolphins. That kid Terrell Pryor, ladies and gentlemen. 144 receiving yards, 35 passing yards, and 21 rushing yards for Terrell Pryor. This is a dude who, my guy Rob Calloway will tell you, I've been petitioning for this dude since he got into that trouble at Ohio State about the tattoos and the cars and whatnot. I felt like it was stupid, not on his part. The way people tried to criminalize what he did, as though there's legitimately something wrong with a 20-year-old being popular, being good at sports, and somebody saying, "Hey, you want to drive a different car every month? Hell yeah!" And I ain't got to walk around campus. You damn right. And a 20-year-old saying, "You know what? We keep beating Ohio, or we keep beating Michigan because they suck right now, and we keep getting these gold pants," which I realized weren't actual pants from looking at an episode of Pawn Stars. They're actually a pin of some real gold pants, like solid gold pants. You know, one of those things like you pin on your lapel on your jacket or whatnot. And he wanted to trade that. He's like, "I got a couple of them here. I want this tattoo on my back," or whatever he was getting, whatever tattoo he was getting. So apparently that was wrong, and they ended up suspending the dude after exploiting him for the bowl game. Like, "Oh, we ain't gonna suspend you now because we already cut these promos for the bowl game, Terrell Pryor versus Ryan Mallett in the Sugar Bowl or whatever it was. And we gonna suspend you for the beginning of next year." So he was like, "Damn that, I'm about to be out in this supplemental draft." And his head coach right now, was the head coach of the Raiders at the time, and spent the 3rd-round draft pick on him in the supplemental draft and trying to play him at quarterback. And since he got to Oakland, since he got into the league, every time me and Rob on the Sports Kings would talk to somebody from Oakland, from Seattle, wherever he would end up, I'd always ask the same question, like, when is somebody going to get this dude to play wide receiver? He's the biggest, fastest dude on the field at all times. Like, I don't think you guys realize how huge that dude is. He is like Kelvin Benjamin that runs a 4.3, 4.4, straight up. Even to the point where he was in Seattle, they was asking him about it. That dude, this is a quote, "I don't know how to catch." That's what he said, until he realized everyone was out of the quarterback experiment business with Terrell Pryor. And then it was like, "Oh, yeah, I know how to catch." Yeah, now. And now look, that dude is awesome. He's just a beastly athlete, man. So big up to him. Took you long enough to realize your potential. The Ravens took care of that damn 0-3, that disappointing Jaguar squad. Blake Bortles, he can't stop throwing it to the other team. That's a problem when you play quarterback. The Packers got off the snide, but they let the Lions come back. Sorry, Renee, it's a tough weekend for you and the homie Deshaun Tate. Lions take another L. Michigan State got it rammed in by Wisconsin. The Broncos took care of the Bengals. The Vikings, 3-0 with Sam M.F.ing Bradford at quarterback. No Adrian Peterson, went and took care of last year's NFC champion Carolina Panthers. Put Cam on his ass 8 times, feel me? Yeah, it got real down. And I'm going to talk about these cats later on, too, man. They're so weird, man. Like, all that stuff that was going on yesterday in North Carolina, Cam came out with a Martin Luther King quote shirt, where the injustice somewhere is a threat to justice everywhere, or I may be paraphrasing, but you know the comment by Dr. Martin Luther King. The Redskins get off the snide with a victory late. Eli Manning throws a late interception. It's a great play by the linebacker, or maybe in the safety. One-handed catch in the end zone. I think Eli felt like the tight end was going to keep coming across. He stopped, didn't cross the linebacker's face, and thus the game was over. I already talked with Ben Troupe about the so wait, hold on. Everybody pause. Renee says I'm still good. Michigan won. So how'd that work? I thought it was like a one or the other type thing. I thought like if you were like Wolverines, you weren't Spartans, and if you were Spartans, you weren't Wolverines. And I don't know, you people, you fan people, you're weirdos, man. All you guys are weirdos. I don't even like. I thought that was the rule, but apparently not. Apparently, it's just like if you play here, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, run it. Let's go. You know what I mean? The Rams, my God, this bad football team is 2-1. They had a lightning delay down there. They had terrible clock management, from what I hear. I didn't know how anyone saw that game because it was already time for the night game by that time. But I saw the highlights, the bad clock management at the end of the game. I think they went to the crib with two timeouts in their pocket. Dirk Cutter, man, how you do that? Like, how you be on an hour-long timeout, basically, and not call the timeouts when you need them at the end? You know, that's kind of crazy. The 49ers took it up to but the Seahawks got, oh, my God, they got off the snide. They couldn't score no points in the first 2 weeks. Then this kid, Christian Michaels, got off the mat and did his thing after 4 years of waiting on him. 4 teams later, one team twice. You know what I mean? He seems to be falling into or finding his own. And then that 49er situation, the question was asked today, like, this kid, Blaine Gabbert, threw for like 120 yards yesterday. Like, there's a dude over there, number 7. He don't like police brutality, and he don't stand for the flag. But at one point, he could play quarterback pretty good in the NFL. But Chip Kelly answered the question today. That's one thing about Chip Kelly that people kind of take this for granted. He's a very blunt individual, man. It's like when he says stuff, he just says it. And sometimes it might rub people the wrong way. But in this case, it just came out as truth. He said the reason that he didn't go to Colin Kaepernick when Blaine Gabbert was struggling, that he doesn't think Colin Kaepernick is healthy enough right now, coming off the surgeries and whatnot, the injury last year. And I'm like, damn, like, who do you ever hear say that? You know what I mean? Like, really, you would more likely to hear a coach pump up the dude that played badly. And remember what I said on Friday? I said it right here on this show, sitting right in front of this mic, that I believe in my heart of hearts that Chip Kelly wants Colin Kaepernick to be his quarterback very badly. But, the time hasn't come yet. And maybe it'll be right around the horizon. The Jets took it up to by the Chiefs. Fitzpatrick couldn't throw anything but interceptions, like 6 picks yesterday. This kid, Marcus Peters, who everyone's talking about, Josh Norman, they love talking about, like guys like Patrick Peterson and how, Revis Island is shut down. You don't really hear a lot about Richard Sherman lately, and that may be a good thing, being a corner. You know what I mean? Because you're hearing a lot about Darrelle Revis. This kid, Marcus Peters, in his second year, man, he's something to behold out there. He goes and gets the football. Let's just say that. Andrew Luck them got off the snide. They had to pull one out against the Chargers late. T.Y. Hilton had a wonderful my man Mac. He used to produce the Mac and Jason show down here in Atlanta. My man Mac, he said one day, he was reading something. He was like, yeah, and Ty Hilton had 100 yards. He was like, Mac, it's T.Y. Mac, without even flinching, said, yeah, I know. I like to call him Ty, though. Oh my God, the Steelers and the Eagles. Carson Wentz may be for real, but yeah, Ben Roethlisberger screwed me. If he has a normal day yesterday, just a normal, give me 20 points yesterday, a normal day, I win my fantasy league. That's with my kicker getting 0 and Kelvin Benjamin, who I haven't mentioned yet because he doesn't deserve it, not doing anything, getting holding penalties, but no catches at all. I'm in a PPR league. So you could have got me like 1 point at least with like a bubble screen, cuz nothing out of a 6'5". And it's my fault. Let me tell you why it's my fault. Because I was trying to be Mr. Smart Guy at the last minute. Had Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's been hot for 3 weeks now. Tried to be Mr. Smart Guy. Saw Renee had Cam Newton as a quarterback. Now I know he had a terrible matchup with the Vikings. That defense, I know he had a terrible matchup. But I was like, all right. Here's my thought process. If he do throw touchdowns, more than likely Kelvin Benjamin got the best matchup of the outside receivers. He and Devin Funches, how big they are. I'm just gonna roll the dice that every touchdown she throw, I get points too. Nothing. 0. And the Bears last night, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke carried the ball 30 times for 100+ yards, caught it for another 20. Dak. I used to call him Zach when he was in college because I didn't understand his name. They were saying Dak. Dak Prescott, short for Dakota. That's what I'm going to do. Start calling him Dakota like I call Julio Quintorris. Short for Dakota. Threw the ball very well last night, man. And many people are starting to think that Tony Romo will not get his job back. And I think sometimes, though, we get to be slaves of the moment. Like, people for the longest haven't had respect for Tony Romo, man. And Tony Romo's a damn good NFL quarterback. The problem is, over the last couple of years, he's getting older and his body's starting to betray him. And he's getting those injuries that are a lot harder to come back from, those things that happen to your back and your clavicle and things of that nature. So, like, I don't know. Like, I am a person who believes if something's going and something's working well. I know Cole Beasley don't want him to go. He catch all the balls. He catch everything that Dak Prescott is throwing. So I know he don't want him to go nowhere. But other than that, nah. If Tony Romo got to sit for the betterment of the team and for the future of the franchise, I don't think that team is constructed as is to win a Super Bowl this year anyway. So if it's just a matter of making the playoffs, hell, make it with the young kid. Make it with Dak Prescott. And, of course, tonight we got the Falcons and the Saints. Now, getting back to Renee, this is the One Mike with Big Mike show here on Spreaker, the Spreaker app. Tune in, blast fire in on onemikewithbigmike.com. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 7 o'clock. You guys can be a part of the show if you want to text me. The number's 404-902-8104. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room. If you're listening via Spreaker, just go ahead and click the thought bubble you see on the Spreaker streaming player, either on my website, on Spreaker, or the Spreaker app. It'll get you right up in there. You guys can also leave your comments below my live streaming video on my Facebook page. My Facebook page is the same as my Twitter and my Instagram. It's all at the number 1, MICWITHBIGMIKE. Now, before we move on to this college football thing, let me address something with Renee real quick. She doesn't understand why I continue to watch Power, right? And this is not my fault. I stopped watching Power. I even canceled my Stars. I canceled it. And a couple of weeks ago, I was flipping through the guide, and instead of hitting the down button when it got to Stars, I hit the play button, and it started playing. And I was like, wait. And it wasn't Power. It was something else that I wasn't trying to watch. But then I said, wait a minute, this is working? Well, let me go find Power. It surely is not going to work. This is surely like an accident. So I clicked it, and it played. So I started watching it. And I knew I shouldn't have. I knew I shouldn't have. But I was watching it. And I don't know. I felt like I was already invested in season 1 and season 2. And I tried to get out, but it brought me back in. So now I'm just on this I hate Power thing. Hashtag I hate Power. It's a terrible show. It's terribly written. Is the game starting? It's terribly written. The scenarios are so horrible. And let me tell you what it feels like. It feels like the people who write for the show, they write for the show like, what's the name of that? Was the show on on Showtime with Claire Danes, and the dude went to the dude that looks like Jason Garrett. He went and got captured in Afghanistan, but he came back and he was a traitor. I can't think of the name of the show, but it's like that. And those dudes, I heard those dudes talk about it. It's like we kind of just write the show as it goes. Like as the scenarios present themselves, we write the show as it goes. And it seems like that's what they do on Power. But the scenario, like stuff just doesn't make sense. The characters and who the characters are supposed to be, like the ghost character. The ghost character is so ridiculous. Like this dude who we know his backstory, and I think everything went south when 50 Cent came on the scene. When he became, in season 2, when he just became such a prevalent part of the show, where it was almost like season 2 was starring him. It threw everything off because he didn't bring anything to the table. We knew the Ghost backstory. They grew up in the hood. They told on Kanan. Kanan got locked up. Ghost took over and he had a different direction of things and he wanted it to look more legit. We knew all that. So it wasn't like this elaborate backstory. And then everything just got thrown out of whack. He falls in love with this dude he ain't seen. Homeland. Thank you, Renee. This chick he ain't seen since junior high school. Now they all in love. He want to leave his down wifey who got all the keys to the kingdom, all the secrets. He want to reverse field on her. And just do it so sloppily, too. You know what I mean? He out there doing work. He running around the hood with all black on, killing corner boys. Like, what character is that? Yeah, it's just, even like yesterday, he took the cake. I saw this dude break into this apartment, right, with gloves on, and use whatever tool that was used to get into the apartment. But then when he goes out of the apartment, for whatever reason, he can't use the same tool anymore with the gloves on, so he has to take the gloves off. Then when he drops the glove, he has to, for whatever reason, put his bare hand on the window and leave his fingerprints. Like, this dude should have, if this is the case, if he's that dumb, how did he get to the position that he's in? Like, that's the part that they need to fill us in on. Like, how the hell did you get to be that guy named Ghost, but everyone knows who you are? The feds, I'm saying, the feds know who you are. Every dude on the street know who you are. How? Like, the whole Ghost moniker I thought was supposed to be like, you know, I'm kind of like a ghost. I handle my business, but I'm not seen. It's just like the whole concept. The concept is good from the beginning. That's what made me start watching it. The concept, I was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? But then the writing is just, what are these dudes doing? What's happening right now? What's happening right now on the game? This must be something else. This has to do with the Hurricane Katrina thing, what they're doing right now. I'm watching the game at the beginning. They're holding hands, and it's like a circle. It's like the largest. No, I'm not going to say that. That would have been way disrespectful because I don't know what's going on because I can't hear it. Or I guess I could have turned the volume up and heard what happened, but too late now. Yeah. I need to know what that was just now. Was that like a protest or something? See, that's what's happening now. Everything's getting so convoluted. I don't know what the hell is going on. Just stick to the script, man. All this ad-libbing. But anyway, the power thing, I'm just so glad. Like, when the dude went to jail, I was like, about time. Like, yes, he need to go to jail. Because I watch a lot of CSI. You know what else he did? He murdered a dude with his suit on, with a bare hand. So if he go down to the jail and they do like they do on CSI and run no GSR test on his hand, I think I'm like, hold on, dude. This might not have been from that, but you just fired a gun. Yeah, man. Like, I want to, like, and what happened to Tasha's homegirl? Lala. What happened to her? Apparently, all it takes is one phone call. Like, we ain't seen, what's her name? I don't even remember her name. Lala. Let me just say Lala. We ain't seen Lala. She ain't been here to do no hair or nothing like that. Really? Let me call her one time. And then I ain't heard from my best friend. She's missing. On to the other stuff. Let me help Ghost kill this Serbian dude. It's like, and then you know what's going to happen too? And this is like the weird stuff that happens with this show. Because they have kids involved, the show, for those of you who love it, will be back. I think I read for season 4 and 5. But the weird thing that's going to happen now is they're going to come back. I think it's the summer of 17. Power will be back. Like this kid that's a hostage now because of the way they do the show. And they'll pick it up like the next day after my man goes to jail. He's gonna be like 25 years old as a hostage for 50 in the crooked police. This is why they gotta like forward this. So you know what? But you know what it is. Before I go to break, you know what show surprised me, and I think maybe has even gotten better than I thought I was done with when Mike Epps got fired. Survivor's Remorse, man. Like it's very complex. You know, I don't know who really the star of the show is because everybody has their own deal, but it's all a collective thing. It's this real good dynamic to the show that really works. They tackle certain issues. It's funny. It's written very cleverly. That's a damn good show, man. Shout out to LeBron and the guys. You know who else was on that show? The dude that played the bald-headed dude. He's in a lot of stuff, but he writes and produces the show with LeBron and his production company. Oh man, who is this dude? He's on that Captain Phillips movie now. The dude that's asking Captain Phillips all the tough questions and so forth and so on. So yeah, that's my little spill on. I don't know how I got off on. Renee brought me into that. Why do I watch shows that I don't like? I don't know, Renee. I watch a lot of TV, and I'm very critical of my TV watching. And since The Wire, since Breaking Bad, the damn bar is set very, very high. And I know nothing else will reach those levels. Well, very few things. Maybe House of Cards is real hard. There are very few things to reach that level, but I just, for a show like Power, I want it to be better. That's probably why. To answer your question before I go to break here, that's probably why, because I want it to be better. I want that show to be better, man, because it has some appealing things to it, but it's just way too ridiculous to even take serious at times. Anyway, it's the One Mike with Big Mike show. I get off that Power soapbox. I know all you people, and especially like Renee loves her some Amari Hardwick. And, like I said, I understand it. I totally understand it, We're going to come back. I got to give you guys the latest on the Colin Kaepernick situation. I also got to talk to you about what happened in college football last weekend and give you guys the updated poll rankings. We'll do all that next on the One Mike with Big Mike show before we get out of here for the night. So, hold on.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Time starts now. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat? Where can you find the answers to these questions?
Car crashes are one of the leading killers of U.S. children. Many of those deaths could be prevented by making sure that kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I have one question for you. Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mike with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mike with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well. Let's get to work. Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemikewithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
In the U.S., about 90 people die in motor vehicle crashes each day, and thousands more are injured, resulting in hundreds of millions of dollars in direct medical costs each year. 1 in 3 crash deaths involves drunk driving, almost 1 in 3 involves speeding, and half of those who died were not buckled up. Even though we've made progress in the U.S., other high-income countries have lower motor vehicle crash death rates. We can and must do better. Here's what you can do. Use a seatbelt in every seat on every trip, no matter how short. Make sure children are always properly buckled in the back seat, in a car seat, booster seat, or seatbelt, whichever is appropriate for their age, height, and weight. Never drive while impaired by alcohol or drugs, and help others do the same. Obey speed limits, and drive without distractions. To learn more, visit cdc.gov/vital signs.
And now back to One Mike with Big Mike.
And here we go.
count dust.
Welcome back to the Monday edition of the One Mike with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app as well as on TuneIn, Blastify.com, and the website, my website, OneMikeWithBigMike.com. Appreciate you guys hanging out. If you didn't get a chance to hear my talk, my weekly talk, Troupe Talk with my man Ben Troupe, it will be available on demand following tonight's show, either on all the outlets I just mentioned, as well as on Spreaker, as well as on Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and the video will be on demand. The video from the live feed will be on YouTube. Follow me or subscribe to my YouTube page, One Mike with Big Mike. You can also check out the video right now if you're listening. You can check it out on my Facebook page at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. You can also, you still got time to jump on in this live interactive chat room. Do so if you're listening via Spreaker, or if you're listening via the Spreaker app. Click on that little thought bubble to get you on up in there. You can text me at 404-902-8104. You can also leave your comments below the live streaming video on Facebook. Now, quickly, because we got to get to a bunch of things before we get up out of here today, and I'm going to try to stay focused as I watch this here Falcons-Saints game. The top 10 going into week number 5 of the college football season goes like this. Washington, Texas A&M, who had a big win over, Arkansas. My first chance to see Arkansas this weekend. I wasn't really impressed. That pass rush that they got over there at Texas A&M. Good heavens. The kid 15 and 10 on the outside. Day. I can't think of the other kid's name. Yeah. Good God. With these bad quarterbacks in the SEC, how does anybody get a pass off against these boys? Wisconsin is now at number 8 after putting that thing on Michigan State. Stanford quietly sitting there at number 7. They got a couple challenges coming up here in the next few weeks. Houston, their coach, Coach Hearns, is a guy whose name has come up in the Les Miles, the LSU job opening. Did y'all hear Coach Orgeron? The dude that's taking over on an interim basis for Les Miles, he sounds like Cookie Monster. He's like, I want to know, I respect Les. I was like, what the hell is happening? So anyway, he's the guy that's in the running. Supposedly, his name has come up for that job. Guys like Lane Kiffin, Art Briles, if you can believe it. Who else? Jimbo Fisher. Here's the thing that's really going to happen. That's really about to come into play. Who was that just caught that ball? Oh, thing that's going to come into play. Some dudes is going to get paid, because you know that's how it works. Every offseason in college football, especially when one of these big jobs come open, everybody panics and they're like, "Oh my God, I need to lock my coach up." And then some coach is already making $5 million a year. Next thing you know, Dabo Swinney's making $7 million a year because he's the hot new name. All because his name has been mentioned. That's all these agents are doing. These agents going to say, mention my guy's name in your job. He might be interested. They do it. The team that he's with or the school that he's with panics, and the next thing you know, he's got another $2 million and maybe 3 more years on his contract with a hellified buyout. Clemson pulling it in at number 5. Michigan all the way up to number 4. Louisville. We got Louisville and Clemson coming up this weekend. That should be nice. Ohio State quietly up there at number 2. This is the AP poll, by the way. And, of course, the Crimson Tide Alabama is sitting there at number 1. What else did I see this weekend before I move on? Oh, some more firings. Duke beat Notre Dame, so Brian Van Gorder got the old heave and the hoe. I mentioned Les Miles. I mentioned some of the possible replacements for him. Georgia, talked about that. Michigan State getting tore up by that Wisconsin squad. Yeah, and that's pretty much it from last week. Yeah, I talked about Georgia with Ben, the Duke situation, Florida. Man, I thought that defense was going to be able to hold up, but shout out to the Hearns kid and Joshua Dobbs. Shout out to them, man. They came back and they did their thing. Moving on, I want to talk quickly about some of these things, and I want to just kind of throw this out to you guys if you guys want to jump in the live interactive chat room or text me or whatever with your response to this. But with all like these celebrity deaths over the last couple of days, it's kind of weird. I always wonder, like, why do people who never knew these people react the way they do to death. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it's someone who is pretty much giving you all they're going to give you. Like, Arnold Palmer is not going to he's not going to win no more Masters or no more golf tournaments. Like, we've seen the best of that dude. And he was like 87, he's 90. Unfortunately, Radio Raheem, Bill Nunn, the Dunham man, he succumbed to cancer. That's unfortunate. This kid, Jose Fernandez, who died, the young kid who pitched for the Miami Marlins, one of two players I knew on the team, him and Giancarlo Stanton, the only two players I knew on the team. Yeah, see, the Saints are on the board early. Yeah, let's get ready, man. Get your popcorn ready. It's about to happen down there in the NO. It's about to go real digital because we about to see some points get put on the board tonight. And then like last week, the other day, Shawty Lowe died, and that was kind of awkward, you know. Because here's the thing about it, and I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I don't think I was necessarily checking for Shawty Lowe. Like, if everything went down for me, my internet and everything, and I wasn't able to go nowhere, and then like a couple days later, like today, right, everything came back up, I wouldn't even know the dude died. Like, it happened, and people said their piece, and everybody was quoting Shawty Lowe songs, but today is over with, you know. And I don't know. It's one of those things that's weird to me. The way people deal with the death of people who they don't know or will never know. I don't know. Also going on tonight, before I get into this Colin Kaepernick situation and get on up out of here, the presidential debate. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the first segment. Yeah, I'm out. I don't think I'm going to gain anything or glean anything more out of these two people than I already know. Like, I'm not going to be... Like, if you're a person that lives in America right now and you're undecided, like, you may be one of those people who's like, you know, I can't believe Bernie got screwed or whatever, and you're like, maybe I should vote for one of these libertarian people. All right, whatever. But if you're one of these people that's on the fence between the two that's on the stage tonight, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, if there's even a doubt between the two people, yeah, there's an issue. And by the way, I'm saying this in a positive sense towards Hillary Clinton. Not towards the psychopath, idiot, racist, xenophobic a-hole. Not towards him. You know what I mean? And look, there's this dude. I guess he's predicted the last 8 elections, and he's got them all right. And he says Donald Trump is going to win. You know what? If Donald Trump wins this election, good. That, because it just illuminates my point even further. I already said before to all y'all, I know this country hates my black ass. And if this is what it's if this is what it comes down to, yeah, we deserve every bit of it. You deserve this ridiculous human being to be the representative worldwide of this quote unquote great country. Have fun. Yeah. Like, I'm almost, because I love calamity, I'm almost rooting for it. Yeah, let it happen. Yeah. And watch all these jerk off rednecks sit around like, yep, it's about to go down. Ain't about to have them do nothing, white boy. Like, that's the only like downside of it, because it's gonna be some problems. These same white boys that's running around all emboldened and they feel like they can do what they want to do. I live by the creed, you can say what you want to. Once you put your hands on me, it's gonna be a huge problem, because this is not 1965, homeboy. It's 2016, and you'll get your ass murked. Straight up. You know what I mean? So that's probably the only downside of it. Like, these white boys will start thinking they have some sort of autonomy, and it's about to go back to being this great America again situation. Yeah. Yeah, not with me and the people that I know. It's going to be trouble for you. Anyway, this is the One Mike with Big Mike show. Let me move on, man, from that foolishness. So, yeah, the Colin Kaepernick situation is turning into a lot of, I don't know, especially now that we're kind of moving into basketball season. And I want to get to this first. I was gonna kind of get to it as I go through the conversation. I want to get to what LeBron said, because it's kind of, and even if you're not hearing me live right now, if you're hearing the show on demand, like I know a lot of you guys do, guys and girls do, you can still tweet me, you know, Instagram me, leave me messages on Facebook about the stuff I talk about on the show. I'm at the number 1, MICWITHBIGMIKE across all social media now. Everything is uniform now. But I want to read to you guys what LeBron James said about the situation, because I didn't really know how to take it, because I told you guys on last week, I'm not like he's a coon and all this sellout and Uncle Tom. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? I'm not. But I do think that in the times that we're in, there should be some sort of uniformity in the feelings that we have, especially knowing that. And then maybe that's what it is. Maybe I feel the way I feel because I know there's nothing that separates me from those guys, from Philando Castile and my man in Charlotte and the dude in Tulsa. There's nothing that really separates me from those guys. With LeBron James and Cam Newton and guys like that, there's a lot. Let's keep it real. There's a lot that separates them from those other people. I don't really see the policeman that's emboldened enough to shoot LeBron James. Like, he's pretty much a worldwide icon. You know him when you see him. You know what I mean? But here's what LeBron James had to say today at his press conference, or to the Associated Press, I should say. This was on Monday. Today, like on Monday, like this is a different day. I'm not here to ramp on America. That's not me. I'm not a politician, but I've lived this life, and I've got a family. And what scares me is my kids growing up in this society right now, where innocent lives are being taken, and it seems like nothing is being done. I'm in favor of anyone, athlete or non-athlete, being able to express what they believe in a peaceful manner, and that's exactly what Colin Kaepernick is doing, and I respect that. When I'm passionate about something, I'll speak up on it. So me standing for the national anthem is something I will do. That's who I am. That's what I believe in. But that doesn't mean I don't respect and don't agree with what Colin Kaepernick is doing. You have the right to voice your opinion, stand for your opinion, and he's doing it in the most peaceful way I've ever seen someone do something. Excuse me. Obviously, I know things don't happen overnight, but it doesn't seem like there is any change. We just want the conversation to be, or to continue to be, who are our leaders? Who are our leaders that are going to help us change what's going on? Everyone is looking for that, and no one knows. I'm here to ask anybody else. Well, I'm not here to ask anybody else to do any more. Guys have a lot going on. I feel like I'm doing all I can do and more to be in my community, to give back to my community, to lend my hand with my foundation, with all the kids, and just letting them know that there is a brighter tomorrow and America is great. I'm doing as much as I can with these kids who look up to me, end quote. I don't know. There's like so much there to me. You know what I mean? Like, I've always had this certain thing about LeBron, and he's evolved over time. Like, I've always felt like LeBron was like, okay, you guys, what do I do? How am I supposed to act? And I think the thing going to Miami and being vilified kind of put him in a mindset where he talked about finding himself and finding who he is and not always being a part of the group. That movie on him, More Than a Game, it really puts you into a place where you see LeBron really wanting to, from his time as a kid, not standing out from everyone else. Even though he knew he was better and being better than everybody else at sports and all these things, he always wanted to feel like he was one of everyone else. And I always got that from him. You know, even with like the Trayvon thing, where it was like, all right, everybody, let's put on our hoods and take these T-shirts. With the Michael Brown thing, let's put on these I Can't Breathe shirts. Never one to really step out there on something. He got a lot of flack for the Tamir Rice thing that happened in the city that he plays ball in, and him not really having not really saying much about that. And then when he did speak on it, he mentioned that I don't know enough about it. And, you know, Twitter did what Twitter does. Like, how the hell don't you? And I asked the question, too. Like, how don't you, my man? One of the parts of this statement that really got to me, he says about standing for the anthem, he says, that's what I do and that's who I am. My question to him would immediately be, why? Why is that what you do? Because someone told you to do it? Because you've done it for so long, it's just what you do? If that's the case, you got to reevaluate. I don't know what the answer to those questions are, but you guys hear it in the intro to my show. If your answer to me when asked that question, why do you do this thing? Well, it's because that's what we've always done. Stop. You got to do some soul searching. Ask yourself why. And the answer seems to be like, because you've always been told that that's what you're supposed to do. I was always told that. And I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, I haven't stood for an anthem at a football game or anything that I've been to that they played it in my adult life. When I was playing ball in college was the last time I did it, and I did it for that reason, because that's what you were supposed to do. There was no thought behind it after the fact. But as you grow older and wiser, and you begin to notice different things, and you begin to actually open your eyes and open your ears, you realize that certain things were never for you. They were forced upon you by other people. So with LeBron saying that's just who I am and it's what I do, that's not really a sufficient answer to the question. Like why would you, especially knowing what you know, that it's not for you. An anthem wasn't written with you in mind. You were 3/5 of a person. None of this stuff. So just that quick. Like the game only been on a few minutes. The Falcons on the board now with a touchdown. I think that's Tevin Coleman. So all you what's the other kid's name? Devontae Freeman owners. Sucks for you, dude. Except for my man Latovsky, because he got both of them playing tonight. Yes, with an F. Both of them playing tonight. Now, I want to get to the rest of the things I got under this topic. The Panthers yesterday. This is one that this is the one that like Renee loves. Like, what the hell is that? Renee gets so excitable. Sometimes I wish like it was like a group chat with everyone that listens to the show when Renee just text me out the blue like, I want to punch this a-hole on TV right now. Like, hold on. Why? What's happening? Why do you want to strike someone that you don't even know? Renee's so excitable. It's awesome. But what did you say earlier? Okay, I had a bunch of Panthers on my fantasy team, and I still beat you. Oh, I thought she was talking about this stuff. Screw you, Renee. Screw you. What was I saying? Okay, so yeah. So Cam Newton and the Panthers, apparently, the story came out today, they wanted to do something yesterday. Like, what the hell is happening? Like, this is what I was talking about last week. Like, just do or don't. You have to announce it. You don't have to get, one of the dudes from the Raiders. He ain't even have a plan on it. He ain't even plan on, like, raising his fist. That dude said, Malcolm Smith, he said he looked up in the crowd and saw a kid about to do it, and her mom slapped her hand down. He was like, damn. Like, it struck something in him to make him do it. So he didn't even plan on doing it. It's like, just, if you believe it, if you believe in what the mission statement is, do it. It ain't got to be. Let me read to you guys what this dude said. One of the Panthers linebackers said. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. What is his name? Trey Boston, a safety. He said the players and the coaches and the general manager, Dave Gettleman, discuss some degree of tribute/protest. Like, what the hell does that even mean? He says, quote, I felt today was our biggest platform as a city. This Sunday, after everything happened, then one of their players, Marcus Ball, he's a reserve safety, you probably never heard of him, he raised a fist and an index finger. That's a new one. See, stick to the script, man. All this ad-libbing, no one knows what you're doing. Please, someone, explain to me. What the hell is a raised fist with an index finger? That's called pointing. What are you pointing at? Anyway, this kid Boston goes on to say, quote, we're trying to do it the right way. Miss me on that again. We're trying to do it fast. But sometimes when you do it fast, it can come out of control. So I think we want to do a good job of really coming together and figuring out how we want to do it. This sounds like a 12-year-old trying to have sex for the first time. That's what that sounds like. I mean, we're trying to do it fast before we get caught, but, we want to figure out how we want to do it. On the back, you want to get on top, how you want to do this. He goes on to say, I think we're going to find a way to do it so nobody can twist what we're trying to do. No one can misinterpret it the direction we want to go with our protests. We want to show something that is so powerful and so right that it can't be made wrong. You're an idiot, sir. That's not how that works. Am I missing something? Like, part of what I know to be a protest means the people or the thing that you're protesting against, they're made to feel uncomfortable. That's what it is. When you stop riding the bus, that economic hit that the bus company takes is meant to feel uncomfortable. This whole idea that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the thing that everyone feels good about. I don't trust anybody that everybody likes. If everybody like you, I can't be your friend. Because that means no one knows who you really are. That person is impossible to be. So this whole idea of, you know what I want to do? I want to do that thing that's so powerful that everybody loves it. I'm already out. So exclude me from everybody. Do your thing, man. And if you brave enough, because all this speaks to is cowardly. It's cowardly. It's cowardness, man. That's all it does. Like I want people to give me the credit for standing up and speaking out. But I don't want none of the heat that Brandon Marshall taking. That dude is taking it all, cause for whatever reason, like they done kind of, well, I ain't gonna say they left Colin Kaepernick alone because they threatening his life, but like on the financial aspect, and like the police in Miami reopening some old ass case against him that was actually wrong. He was stopped wrongfully, and when he talked about it, now all of a sudden the police in Miami was like, you know what? Let's take another look and see if he really wasn't doing anything. Come on, man, what is that about? This kid Jeremy Lane, remember Jeremy Lane? He sat. Now they put him in a position where it's like, all right, is he gonna be a non-teammate and not do this lock arms thing, or is he gonna do his own thing? So now you put a dude in a more precarious situation, and now he can't protest the way that he initially said that he was going to continue to protest because the rest of his teammates are punks. My words. Anyway, this kid Ball goes on to say, we have to find a way to show them not only will we play for you, but we want to be with you in these times. We recognize what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. That may be good enough for some. I just think it's weak sauce, man. You know, I mentioned Cam Newton's T-shirt yesterday. He also had on this weird top hat. And shout out to Vashti Hurt, CarolinaBlitz.com. She's a friend of the show. She had a picture of this little, I don't know if it was a pin on the hat, but on the pin, it said, quote, "Don't be a puppet." And I'm like, that's ironic, or is that like a message to yourself? You know what I mean? Like, all right, Cam, stop being a puppet. I don't know. Lastly, one of the last things I want to get to you guys about is Michael Crabtree, wide receiver. I sound like I'm from Decatur now. Wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders. Like this thing here. Like if I was the dude that was on that that coonery stuff, like that's my man's word. That's Rob's word. Coonery and buffoonery. He always pairs them up. This might make me do it. This dude was asked by Ann Killian of the San Francisco Chronicle. His quote was, "I just play football. I ain't no Martin Luther King." He didn't say the King. I mean, I ain't no Martin Luther King. I went back to Coming to America for some reason, ridiculously. He goes on to say, quote, "I've let it be known I don't have anything to do with him. I'm a Raider." Because, of course, that's what it's about. It's about a team that don't give a damn. Like, stop getting catches and watch and see if you're still a Raider. Because, like, no, you're a black dude. That's what you are in this context, as what she's asking you about. You're not a damn Raider. You're a N-word. I wanted to say it. I could say it on my show, but I try to keep it civilized, and I've been trained better, so my training always kicks in. And I already mentioned Malcolm Smith talking about the little girl that he saw in the crowd. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't have to put that extra on it. Like the dudes who say, I believe in the flag and I want to stand for the flag. I don't know, like, I'm not with you on that, but whatever. That's cool. But then to try to be extra cute about it, like, I ain't no Martin Luther King. We know, cuz. We know that's a special dude. Those dudes don't come along every day. There's plenty of people who've tried fake ass Jesse Jacksons and these dumbass Al Sharptons of the world. Yeah. That's a dude, that's a once in a lifetime cat. Of course you're not. But, you know, things like life just I'm not the karma dude. But I've lived long enough to understand that life sometimes finds people. And sometimes life is people's best teacher. When you feel like you're oblivious to certain things, like life can't touch you, life finds a way of touching you, man. I don't have nothing to do with that dude. I'm a Raider. This ain't got nothing to do with no damn cross the bay rivalry, dumbass. That's y'all people, man. I can't like that. I can't deal. That's one of y'all people. That's y'all cousin them. That ain't nothing I can deal with. Anyway, man, I'm about to get up out of here. I'm about to watch this football game. Seems to be a good one so far. Ain't nobody playing no defense, but I'm sure no one expected that to happen. I'll be back on Wednesday, hump day, with more of this foolishness. Shout out to everybody who checked out the show today. If it's your first time, thank you for listening. If you're checking me out on demand via Spreaker, the Spreaker app, download that thing for your phone, man, that Spreaker app. Tune in, Blast-Fi, OneMicWithBigMike.com, of course, my awesome website. Brought to me by 3PM Media, a.k.a. Renee Cooper. iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. The video with my ugly mug, you can catch that on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to that One Mic with Big Mike YouTube page. My Facebook, like that joint, like me, or follow me on Twitter and Instagram, all the same handle at the number 1 MIC WITHBIGMIKE.com. Until Wednesday, you guys enjoy your Tuesday. We'll be back to help you get over the hump on Wednesday. Hopefully this football game is all it's built up to be, and we can talk about this a little bit on Wednesday as well. Also, shout out to my guy Ben Troupe for Troupe Talk tonight. I'll be back with Matt Latovsky. I got to cuss Matt out. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. That's my guy, man. We'll be back with Matt Latovsky on Wednesday to do some fantasy football. You guys take care.